The roots of the China-Taiwan divide trace back to the turbulent years of the Chinese Civil War, a conflict that would shape the destiny of millions and redraw the map of East Asia. The nationalist Kuomintang, led by Chiang Kai-shek, fought bitterly against the communists under Mao Zedong. Both sides were determined to unify China under their own vision, leading to years of devastating battles, shifting alliances, and immense suffering for ordinary people. After years of brutal conflict, Mao's communists emerged victorious, taking control of the vast Chinese mainland in 1949 and founding the People's Republic of China. This moment marked a seismic shift in Chinese history, as the Communist Party began to reshape society and politics. Defeated but not destroyed, Chiang and the KMT retreated to the island of Taiwan, bringing with them soldiers, officials, and refugees. There, they established the Republic of China as a government in exile, still claiming to represent all of China despite their limited territory. From that point on, two rival governments each claimed to be the legitimate ruler of China, one based in Beijing, the other in Taipei. This rivalry would define cross-strait relations for decades to come. For decades, Taiwan held China's seat at the United Nations, enjoying support from the United States and many Western allies. The world was divided over which government truly represented China. But in the 1970s, a dramatic shift occurred. Most countries, including the US, switched diplomatic recognition to the People's Republic of China, and Taiwan was pushed out of most international organizations, becoming increasingly isolated on the world stage. Despite never having ruled Taiwan, Beijing has always insisted that the island is a breakaway province that must eventually be reunified with the mainland, by force if necessary. Meanwhile, Taiwan has developed its own government, vibrant democracy, and unique identity, distinct from the mainland. Many Taiwanese today see themselves as separate from China. This unresolved civil war remains at the heart of today's tensions, fueling military standoffs and shaping the region's future. The fate of Taiwan continues to be a flashpoint with global implications, making the story of two Chinas as relevant as ever. Beijing's One China principle is clear and unwavering, forming the bedrock of its foreign and domestic policy. For the Chinese government, this doctrine is not just a political stance. It's a matter of national pride and historical destiny. According to Beijing, there is only one China in the world, with the People's Republic of China as its sole legitimate government. Taiwan, in this view, is an inseparable part of Chinese territory, regardless of its current self-governance or international relationships. This belief is deeply woven into China's national identity and is seen as essential to the country's vision of historical rejuvenation, a return to greatness after what it calls a century of humiliation. President Xi Jinping has made reunification with Taiwan a personal and national mission, repeatedly declaring that unification is inevitable. He warns that no one can ever stop China's reunification, and frames it as a core part of the Chinese dream. The one country, two systems model, once proposed as a peaceful path for Taiwan's return, has lost credibility among most Taiwanese, especially after Beijing's crackdown on freedoms in Hong Kong. Many in Taiwan now see the model as a threat to their democracy and way of life. The United States and most countries follow a one China policy. They acknowledge Beijing's claim over Taiwan, but stop short of endorsing it. This careful diplomatic balancing act allows them to maintain unofficial relations and trade with Taiwan while avoiding direct confrontation with China. Beijing uses its growing economic and political influence to pressure governments and international organizations worldwide to avoid any official contact with Taipei, viewing such engagement as a direct challenge to its sovereignty. Chinese officials have repeatedly warned that any moves toward formal Taiwanese independence cross a red line. They insist that, if necessary, China will use force to prevent what it sees as the permanent separation of its territory. The message from Beijing is unmistakable. Unification is non-negotiable, and if challenged, China is prepared to escalate its response, making the Taiwan issue one of the most sensitive and dangerous flashpoints in global politics today. China has dramatically increased military pressure on Taiwan, signaling its resolve and capabilities. In December 2024, China staged its largest naval exercise in decades, deploying nearly 90 vessels and simulating blockades and anti-access strategies. These drills practiced cutting Taiwan off from outside support, sending a clear warning to Taipei and its allies. Air incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone have surged. with dozens of Chinese aircraft testing Taiwan's defenses and straining its air force. China's defense budget dwarfs Taiwan's, highlighting the military imbalance. Beyond conventional threats, China uses gray zone tactics, cyber attacks, economic pressure, and surveillance balloons to exhaust and intimidate Taiwan. These actions are part of a comprehensive strategy to force Taiwan toward unification. The pressure is relentless, and the threat of escalation is ever present. For Taiwan, the stakes could not be higher. Under growing pressure, Taiwan is strengthening its defenses and asserting its unique identity. President Lai Ching-te's government rejects Beijing's claims and upholds Taiwan's de facto independence, while calling for dialogue. Taiwan's porcupine strategy focuses on asymmetric warfare, fast attack boats, agile corvettes, and mobile missile systems to make invasion costly. Still, most analysts agree Taiwan needs U.S. support to deter a full-scale attack. Public opinion is clear. The vast majority want to maintain the status quo, rejecting both unification and a risky declaration of independence. The one country, two systems model is deeply unpopular, especially after Hong Kong's crackdown. Taiwan faces diplomatic isolation with only a handful of formal allies as Beijing pressures countries to switch recognition. Yet Taiwan builds unofficial partnerships and highlights its contributions in global health, technology, and humanitarian aid. Its vibrant democracy and distinct identity remain central to its resistance. Taiwan is a global tech powerhouse, especially in semiconductors, the backbone of modern electronics. TSMC produces over 90% of the world's most advanced chips, making Taiwan's silicon shield vital to the global economy. Any conflict disrupting the supply would trigger worldwide shortages and economic chaos. The US and others are racing to diversify supply chains, with TSMC building new plants abroad. China, meanwhile, relies on Taiwanese chips for its own tech ambitions, complicating its calculus on unification. Taiwan is also reducing economic dependence on China, expanding trade with Southeast Asia, South Asia, and beyond. Its tech dominance and economic resilience are key to its global significance. The United States plays a pivotal role in the Taiwan Strait, carefully balancing its formal diplomatic ties with Beijing while maintaining a strong, though unofficial, relationship with Taiwan. Through a web of unofficial channels, the U.S. provides robust support for Taiwan, signaling its commitment to the island's security and democratic values. The Taiwan Relations Act, passed in 1979, obligates the U.S. to ensure Taiwan has the means to defend itself, shaping decades of policy and military cooperation. Yet, Washington deliberately maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, refusing to clarify whether it would intervene militarily if conflict erupts. This approach is designed to deter both a potential Chinese attack on Taiwan and to discourage Taiwan from making a unilateral declaration of independence, which could escalate tensions. In recent years, debates in Washington have intensified, with lawmakers and analysts questioning whether strategic ambiguity remains effective in deterring conflict. Some voices advocate for a shift toward clearer deterrence, arguing that explicit commitments might better prevent miscalculation by Beijing. Meanwhile, the U.S. continues to approve major arms sales to Taiwan, providing advanced weaponry and technology to bolster its defenses. Joint military training and exercises further enhance Taiwan's readiness, deepening the security partnership between the two sides. These actions draw fierce condemnation and retaliatory sanctions from Beijing, which views them as interference in its internal affairs. High-profile visits and transits by U.S. and Taiwanese officials often make headlines, further straining cross-strait relations. In response, China frequently stages military drills and sends aircraft or ships near Taiwan, signaling its displeasure and resolve. Economically, U.S.-Taiwan trade ties are deepening, with technology and semiconductor industries at the heart of their partnership. New agreements and collaborations are strengthening economic links, making Taiwan an even more vital partner for the U.S. American involvement in the region underscores Taiwan's strategic value, not just for the U.S., but for the broader Indo-Pacific. The U.S. repeatedly affirms its commitment to peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, urging all parties to avoid unilateral changes to the status quo. The stakes for U.S.-China relations and for global stability are immense, as any misstep could have far-reaching consequences. Every move is watched closely in Beijing, Taipei, and capitals worldwide. The balance is delicate, and the risks are real, making the future of U.S. Taiwan-China relations one of the world's most closely monitored flashpoints. The Taiwan issue reverberates globally, shaping alliances and strategic calculations. Most countries recognize the PRC but maintain unofficial ties with Taiwan, balancing economic interests and security concerns. Japan and Australia see Taiwan's security as vital to their own, strengthening cooperation with the U.S. Southeast Asian nations walk a tightrope, wary of China's power but valuing trade with both sides. Europe, increasingly aware of Taiwan's tech role, is more vocal about peace and stability, though unity is elusive. Forums like the G7 and Quad highlight Taiwan's importance, while China counters with economic leverage and new alliances. The world is watching, and choosing sides could reshape the global order. War in the Taiwan Strait would be catastrophic, first for Taiwan and China, but also for the world. The global tech supply chain would collapse, halting production of everything from cars to medical devices. The Taiwan Strait, a vital shipping lane, would close, disrupting trade and triggering a global recession. The economic shock would be universal, with inflation, job losses, and supply shortages everywhere. Security risks are even greater. US-China confrontation could escalate, with nuclear powers facing off. Even a limited conflict would destabilize the Indo-Pacific and undermine the international order. Alliances would be tested, and the world could become more fractured and unstable. Preventing conflict in the Taiwan Strait is a global imperative. Peace here means stability everywhere. The Taiwan Strait is one of the world's most dangerous flashpoints, with global consequences. Beijing sees unification as a historic mission. Taiwan's people value democracy and self-governance. Bridging this divide requires diplomacy, patience, and international support for peaceful dialogue. The world must oppose any unilateral change by force while supporting Taiwan's participation in global affairs. Open communication with China and responsible management of disagreements are essential to avoid escalation. The stability of the Taiwan Strait and global peace depends on a delicate balance and shared commitment to diplomacy. The stakes are too high for complacency. The pursuit of peace is everyone's responsibility.